So guys, let me tell you what just happened last night. Me, my pops, my dad, my brother, we went out to this barbecue joint that I found on Google, and it said it was like the highest rated one. So I assumed, oh, okay, 4 or 5 stars, it's gonna be banging. So I went to it. It was in Atlantic Beach, Florida, which is outside of Jacksonville. So we drove down there. It was like a 30-minute drive. And I looked online, and I was like, okay, it's a casual place, right? It had some music playing. The parking lot was whack. We got up there. There was maybe like 6 parking lot spots. So it's like in a very small lot. So we had to park at the gas station and walk over. So I was like, okay, already it's a little crappy. So we had to park down the road and walk. So we were like, okay, whatever. There was a lot of people outside. Not too many people inside. So we end up going up to the counter and going, hey, 3 people. And the lady goes, I'll follow you. Okay. So I guess the customer picks where they want to sit. Okay. Fine with me. And we sit down and the table is wobbly. Like literally, I put my hand down and it wobbled. I was like, nope, not sitting here. So I got up and changed seats. The atmosphere inside was kind of okay. Like it had music playing. It was very dead inside, like one other couple. Most people were outside. Whatever. The lady comes over, the waitress comes over and goes, here's your menu and here's some silverware. And then she goes, you want any starters? I look at the menu and I go, nah, we don't. No jalapeno poppers. I would have got the poppers, but I was just like, nah, we're good. Because my pops and my brother, they're not really those kinds of people. So I didn't want to get something that for a starter. So we just said, no, we're good. So the lady walks away. And I'm like, okay. And I look on the back of the menu. I go, oh, that's a drink menu. Like beers and wine and stuff. The lady never said, this is the beer menu. This is the wine menu. Never said this is the drink menu or nothing. So I was like, okay. She's not going to even acknowledge. And when she came back, another waitress came over and goes, have you guys been helped? And I go, yeah, there was this blonde girl, like a tall blonde girl that came over, but she asked if we wanted any starters, and we said no, but we're ready to order because it's been about 5 minutes. So she goes outside, gets her. She comes back in, and we go to order. I got a brisket sandwich, my dad got a chicken sandwich, and my brother got a pulled pork sandwich. So we're waiting, and I sit there and go, can we get some drinks? And she goes, beers for everybody. And I go, no beers. Waters? And I turn around and go, you have a soda machine right there. We want some sodas. My dad wants a Sprite with no ice. I want the root beer with no ice. And my brother wants a Coke Zero with no ice. Okay? And she goes, oh, okay. She goes over there, brings back the drinks. And I go, there's ice in this. She goes, yeah. And I'm like, the reason I get no ice in the drink is because it waters down the drink and they don't put a lot of drink in the drink, right? They don't put a lot of stuff in the cup. So you're wasting time by doing it that way. You put less drink in the water or less drink in the cup than you do because you're filling it 90% with the ice. And the drinks come out of the machine already cold. Most of the time it's cold. So you don't need that. That's one reason why I always say no ice. And the lady goes, okay. So when I got my sandwich, it was okay. Like not a lot of sauce on the sandwich for 18, I think it was like 18 bucks. I was like, not a lot. So I go, can I get some ranch for the fries? Because I usually eat ranch like a savage, I guess. And I bit into the french fry, and the french fry was kind of plain. Very plain, like it was crispy, but like lacking the flavor. So, you know when you go to these like casual places, it's either a hit or miss. Like barbecue places are either a hit or miss. They can either make the brisket or whatever, like banging, real delicious, flavor it up. It was like not much flavor at all. So I had to put literally more ranch on my sandwich to make it where it wasn't as dry. So my dad's chicken sandwich looked delicious. My brother said his sandwich was, okay. My brother, he's that kind of guy, like, he doesn't care. He'll eat it because he'll eat it. Me, I ate my sandwich and I ate it within like 3 minutes. I was just gobbled it up. I was done because I was hungry. And the lady comes back and I go, well, it's going to be 2 different checks. So we do the 2 different checks. I was like, I'm not tipping this lady. For one, she didn't do what she's supposed to do and say, hey, on the back of the menu, here's the drink menu. And on the front is the food menu, right? She never said that. She never offered to tell us what the day of the week special was. You would assume she would say, hey, Thursday night, this is a special, it's prime rib and blah, blah, blah. She didn't say nothing. So I was like, wow, either you're having a shitty day at work or you just don't do your job that great. Because in realistic terms, my guys, if you are a waiter, the way to get a good tip is to have the best service possible. Hey, thanks for coming in. Thanks for enjoying your meal. How's everything going? How can I help you? We got sodas on tap. We got prime rib with baked potato and some corn on the cob on the side. They didn't say any of that. It was like, oh, you don't want a starter? Oh, okay. And I'm thinking, when I talked to my dad, it's like, who doesn't want to drink with their food? No beer, no wine, no soda, no water. And the lady just looked at us like, oh, well, you said you didn't want a starter. Yeah, a starter is an appetizer. A water, a soda is not an appetizer. If you say I want a root beer, that's not an appetizer. That's a drink that goes with your meal. So I was just like, yo, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to give you $3. And the meal came to like $48 for 2 sandwiches. And my dad's sandwich he bought by himself because he wanted to pay for it by himself. But the lady, it seemed like either she had never done that job before or having a bad day or she wasn't as professional as she thought she could be. And I'm sick and tired of every single place you go in society now, they expect a tip. They expect a tip at Starbucks, at every place. Even if you go to Starbucks and you say, I want a hot chocolate. That's it. Oh, are you going to tip us? You go, no, I'm not going to tip you. All you did was take my order and you processed it. That's not something you should be getting tipped for. They pay you a regular salary here. Stop with every single damn place in America. Maybe the UK does the same thing, but it's like every single place you go, can you get a tip? Can I get a tip? I understand if you're like doing Uber Eats or something and that's the base of the job is making the pay from a tip. But even that is crazy. If you don't tip on Uber Eats, the Uber Eats driver, because I did it for 2 months, you only get like $3.50. And that's disgusting. It's like, how can you even justify paying someone $3.50 a drop-off? Or as a pizza delivery, you're only paying them like $3.50 as a drop-off. That's weird. So those jobs where it's basically if you don't get paid by a tip, if you don't get that big tip, you're not making no money. Those jobs are shit. And then they come up and go, well, the federal minimum wage is $7.25, and they go, keyword, if we raise our minimum, if we raise our pay for our employees, we'll have to raise our prices. Yes, raise your prices so your employees can make a living and actually provide from their families. Stop paying these people shit wages and they can't support their family. Because who can make a living and make a living off of $15 an hour? Like nobody. And how do you justify, well, the customer will pick up the slack where the job isn't paying them. So if they need an extra $300, they can make that in a tip. That is the most ironic thing that America is doing right now. Hey, our kitchen staff doesn't make enough, so if you tip them, then they'll get enough. No, raise their minimum wage of what you're paying them. If it's 15, pay them 17, and then raise your prices so people will pay those prices when they come in to eat, and then they can make a living. But they don't. They expect every single thing to get a tip. I'm going to Smoothie King tomorrow. Oh, you're going to tip us for making your smoothie? No, because 5 years ago you weren't asking for a tip. Now you're trying to get every single tip you possibly can. And when you go no tip, the waiter or the person behind I would call just the employee behind the counter looks at you like you're a dick. I'm not a dick. The drink is $8. I'm not going to give you 15% of that. Is what, like $2.50 or something? I'm not doing that. Knock it off. Knock it off with everybody thinks they deserve a tip. I'm sick and tired of every single place you go. I want to go to, let's just say Dunkin' Donuts to get a donut. Oh, you're going to tip me because you asked me for a chocolate chip donut? Shut your ass up. You don't deserve a tip. Well, you don't know how it feels to not. Yes, I do know how it feels. My job doesn't pay me enough. I'm not going to ask people at my job, hey, can you tip us? No, I'm not going to do that because my job, you can get tips if you're life dependent on it. But at the end of the day, that is where I am. The lady at the job that we were at yesterday, the restaurant, didn't do her job right. You're supposed to do, when you sit down at a restaurant, you're supposed to say, hey, welcome to Billy's Philly's Cheesesteaks. On the menu for today is the prime rib with a side of coleslaw and some mashed potatoes. We recommend the Chardonnay, or we recommend the IPA beer. But we also have regular sodas, which are Coke products, and we have water if you choose not to drink sodas or the beer. But like I said, today it is prime rib Thursday, so you're going to get a nice prime rib with the side of mashed potatoes and some corn. Boom! How hard is that? That would be like, wow, that's professional right there. You're trying to get as much money as you possibly can from that tip. Don't just go sit down. When you sit down, you go, here's the menu. You want any starters? No, we're good. Okay, I'll see you in about 10 minutes. That is not how you do it. And let me know, would you tip this person? Or do you base your tip upon the actual fact that the person does her job good? Or do you base your tip on, well, I'm going to tip them anyway because they need to make a living regardless? I base my tip on the fact that if they do their job correctly, they do their job good, and they do their job great. If they don't do their job good and they don't do their job great, you're not getting a tip. But I don't like it how every single place now thinks they deserve a tip. Like, I go to this place called Bento's Asian Kitchen. I go, hey, I want some chicken fried rice. And they go, okay. And then they turn the little iPad thing over and go, tip? And you go, no, I'm not tipping you. And they look at you like, why? I'm like, all you did was take my order. You're the cashier. You just took my order. And then the cook's going to cook my food. I don't need to tip you for you typing in the computer chicken fried rice. And they look at you like you're some scumbag because you didn't tip them. I'm like, when did it become like a national thing that every single place asks for tips? Like, I go to the gym where I work out. I go get a protein shake and the guy goes, tip? And you go, no. Not every place deserves a tip. Stop getting flabbergasted and freaked out because I'm not tipping you. That's crazy. When tips go crazy and people beg for tips, then get a job that pays good. And I understand not every job pays good. My job doesn't pay good, and I complain every day. But I wouldn't expect the general public to pick up the other slack that my job isn't affording me to pay. That's the truth. I wouldn't expect my job to have people tipping me so I can make that extra $100 or extra $200. That's not how it works. I would just say, get 2 jobs or try to find something better, because at the end of the day, the general public should not be picking up the slack that the job is not paying you. Well, jobs will tell you, hey, consumer, if we raise our minimum wage for this employee, instead of 15, we pay him 20. That burger now went from 5 to 8. Okay, make it $8. Pay your employees a living wage. Don't pay them shit that they can't afford to live and provide for their family. So that's the story, guys. Going to a nice restaurant that was clearly said like 4 out of 5 stars on Google reviews. I go there and we had decent food with shit service. Let me know, would you tip them or would you go, nah, I'm good?